I don't know how the hell I got myself in these things with these independent people out there left or right who have a connection. I'll tell you, folks. 6:14 in the evening. It is the 17th of March 2024. Don't get me started about the green. I already had my green on earlier today, so there's no pinching today. Ha ha, he he. What I am a little bit concerned about is when some people are really having a conniption fit concerning about our First Amendment rights, one way or another, and what doesn't work for everybody would be working for someone else. The current thinking running amok on both sides of the right and left wing. Case in point, a gentleman I scope out from time to time and to see if his high blood pressure and high anxiety level is going up there along with mine. He made a case, or tried to make a case, concerning about hate speech. And granted, yes, we do have it out there. We have psychopaths out there who want to see the stuff because they're feeding their ego. And Jesse, chilled. You're worried about whether or not the FBI is going to be doing anything or not about this situation. Did you even check the court cases about the freedom of speech reasons why the FBI won't go after him? Now, I am not a lawyer. I am not a legal scholar. I'm not of any of that ilk. I have no military experience. I have no family in the law. I'm only going about my observations of what my own knowledge is throughout my lifetime, what I've heard and what I've read in the papers, but also what I keep track in my head, and things I research. Being a college student currently at a community college, I'm supposed to do research, especially when I'm going to be doing debates, and this is going to be one of them, sir. Did you happen to do any Google research concerning about SCOTUS rulings? If I can just get this right on this one. I typed into Google, how many SCOTUS rulings on First Amendment regarding hate speech? The first thing that came up was thoughtco.com. Granted, I went in there just to see what was going on. It mentioned 6 major Supreme Court cases about it. One of which I already knew about it in the 70s because they made a television documentary about this thing. You ever heard about Skokie, Illinois versus the American Nazi Party? Or as they called it, the National Socialist Party versus Skokie, 1977. Now granted, you probably would have seen this thing on television back then in your young age, or remembered it. I did, because it was that paramount. And I didn't realize it until I went further. And I had to listen and research this one. You understand what the American Nazi Party is. I'm surprised your wife also understands this one. So you're shaking your heads on this one. You're nodding on this one. So, okay, what's your point? Well, gee, boys and girls, if we understand what the American Nazi Party and then the National Socialist Party back in Germany back in the 30s through the 40s, well, I think we understand what this thing is. So we can actually call it a hate group, right? Okay, we got that squared away. This coming into a town, looking to intimidate, scare, and build up their own ego and their own street creds by going after the Jewish community. Unfortunately, the local constables had arrested them and tried to put them through the jail. Found them guilty. They appealed. There's something about the First Amendment clause. Gee, what were they missing on? Their civil rights, possibly? Now to get up to the Supreme Court at this point. There are some things you have to keep in mind on this one. First of all, it was in the area. They were trying to do it in the public area. But they wanted to switch over to the private area. Public area, you still would need to get permits in this town. Private areas, going through streets. Now granted, the local communities would have been correct in their own laws and their own ordinances to prevent hate speech. However, when it goes through this Constitution, there are those judges. They all have different opinions through each judge. This one went to the Supreme Court, and it was argued that the Nationalist Socialist Party was denied their First Amendment rights. It went to them. They said that their First Amendment rights were violated, and that's it. That particular case they won. They keep forgetting about the inner workings of our government, down to the local ordinance laws. Now, are you, Mr. Dollarmore, able to parade, get yourself a group of people and start parading down the street? Granted, if you're protesting the federal government or the state government or local government, would that be considered First Amendment rights? Yes, because there should be no government interference if you are protesting the government. Jesse, shall we open up that Constitution book of yours while I go through the Google Apps? Constitution Amendments. Shall we go to number 1? Let's go to number 1, shall we? Okay. Where am I going to? Britannica? Oh, hell no. I'm going to the constitutioncenter.org. How about that one? So, what does the First Amendment say at this point? I'm waiting for the computer system to pull this stuff up. Ah, there we go. Freedom of religion, speech, press assembly, and petition. Well, I like according to someone anyway. I prefer looking at the Constitution in itself, so I'm going to constitution.congress.gov. Open your hymnals, please. Okay. We got the articles, but it's the First Amendment. Okay, here we go. Read with me. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion. Well, you're out of luck on that one, aren't you, pal? Or prohibiting the free exercise thereof. Semicolon. Or abridging the freedom of speech, comma, or of the press, semicolon, or the right of the people peacefully to assemble, comma, and to petition the government for a redress of grievances. Bottom line this. If I am going to be going into your town and I'm going to be demonstrating just how screwed up your government is, for whatever reason it is, I will go there. And I will protest. I will drive your city council crazy because I am protesting, probably as an out-of-towner, but if I was actually part of your towner, and demonstrating my displeasurement of your community, I probably would. On government property. And stating that your government sucks. Now, will my tire reveal and reflect the same attitude I would have right now as it is? Would it? What do I got on? Let's see. T-shirt, sweatpants, face uncovered, glasses on here. Headset. Okay. Maybe. So, I'm going to go over there and I'm going to make a rousing hell. I'm going to make statements about your government system over here. But if I wanted to go for a personal attack, you hear Pandora's box opening and creaking like crazy right now, don't you? Here we go. The court case in the Supreme Court regarding Skokie versus the Nazis. Skokie was outraged. They couldn't do a damn thing about it. No. SCOTUS said that they have the right to protest, but didn't say anything concerning about the damn mechanisms or the internal workings of how they're going to be managing this damn thing in the first place. I want to repeat and go back on YouTube and listen to it a couple of times to maybe get the rambling going here. Which means, if I was part of the Nazi party, and I'm coming over here with my Nazi regalia, I don't have any, that's just in case, and I'm going to say that you have some bad people in there, and we want to make known that we want these people out. We want them out of here because we say so. They should be gone. They should be this. They should be that. They should be what we say. Okay. Question. Where and when can I do this? Blinking your eyes, are you? Okay, try this again. Where and when can I do this hypothetical situation to scare the crap out of your citizens and scare the crap out of your government and you at the same time? Means I need to get a permit, doesn't it? Does your town allow permits? Do they allow bureaucratic time and dates and places allowed to do so? But is this going to violate my First Amendment rights? I have the right for free speech. I have a right to condemn and insult and enslave and bestow upon you some negative feelings and thought patterns left and right. Because I am an American citizen, therefore I say in the name of anger and hatred and everything else I can be doing this thing. Because I can do that, because I am an ego running amok. Do we understand that? But with a good point over. Ego running amok. Okay, so, the seriousness. Do you have in your local government rules, regulations, permits allowing a group, or maybe even an individual, maybe, going up and spouting off the crap? And are they allowed to go through private neighborhoods? You understand, I have the right to protest. What am I protesting? I heard. I saw the clip. I saw the news clip. I was reading things on the internet concerning about this schmuck out in Colorado. Yes, he is one of those other idiots we keep showing up and talking about left and right. And yes, he is going to be one of those damn instigators. And the problem is, if they're going to be directing at the government system at this point over here, if they're going to be directing it at the government, the First Amendment unfortunately takes the precedent at this point over here. It's going to protect the schmuck if they're making political speech. I know, it was hate, well, we need to have, or there should be. But you realize he's not stepping over that line. He can make all the damn bullshit he can. And yes, he probably will be instigating people. And it's going to be on them following this idiot. It's going to be on them. We already seen how Trump is getting his ass kicked in the courts. And we've got shady judges right now. Federal are just not doing what we think they should be doing. And maybe they are that shady. It sucks. They got installed for the reason to protect his ass. Old Gasbag 45. Or almost anybody like him. Except we were seeing these instigators for the January 6th. They did the action. Trump was staying behind and being the instigator. Think of him as the Godfather. Teflon Don. You've heard of Mafia. You've heard of the Mafia cases. Unless they have solid evidence going against this guy, all he's got is gas. It's the people people are picking up on the damn thing. They're the ones who are going to get their asses reamed on this shit. They're going to get their asses reamed on this one, Jess. Unless they've got something solid. I mean, you're actually dead on solid. Capone. Can we raise up Capone here? They couldn't get something solid on Capone except for tax evasion. Something the federal government could hold on to and go after. And he died in prison. Not exactly what we wanted, or what we could see, but they got something solid on the guy. And he's something solid on old Gasbag and people like him. Something tangible that they can hold on to. I could do political insults. I could do political threats. I could. Will I? Intend. I could talk to some people and say, well, you know, there should be some actions taken. Because we don't like what's happening in our country, in our state, in our town, in our community. We don't like these things or these people. And therefore, I think we should do. This is why it gets so damn legal. This is why it gets so damn messy in the legal systems, because they are messing around with the grammar, vocabulary. They are dealing with the English dictionary and the thesauruses at the same time. They can find intent. They can find something solid, not just haphazard, but something rock solid. The FBI knows this, Jess. They hear, they see. The terrorist unit keeps track of this stuff. So does the other people. We know. As long as we got that First Amendment right going on, protecting everybody, including both upper and lower. Even protecting Elon Musk and his bullshit. Keep this in mind. Elon is doing a private thing, allowing that stuff to go crazy. There's no government regulation on the former Twitter, now called X. You understand this? Pisses me off too. However, it's got to be applied equally. We don't like it. We want it to be on our favor, on our side, what we think it is. It isn't, because justice is blind. If I had made a direct threat, a demonstration potentially, on someone, political, and have intention of malice, would the FBI look at me as a potential terrorist threat if I was going to make good on it? There has to be follow-up on this one. There has to be a past leading up to this particular point. We know the Colorado schmuck is stoking ego like everybody else online. They want to see this thing because they got delusions of grandeur. They don't care. They don't want to care. They think they're going to be following the Constitution. Wait until it bites them in the ass and they'll say, no, it's not fair. Justice is blind. She's supposed to be blind. She's supposed to be blindfolded because she cannot see favoritism. Justice has to be that way, showing no favoritism. If it is, we're all screwed. This really gets to me because I'm a First Amendment kind of guy. You remember the movie, and I'm sure your wife probably does. The American President? What was the last lines? Not nearly the last lines, but in a press conference. It's on YouTube, it's on the videos, and everywhere else that you can research this thing. Suppose you want me to do the work for you. Alright. You're going to be asking for this one. Okay. Let's see. Some of this stuff I'm going to learn. Okay, here we go. Yes. Okay. AmericanRhetoric.com. I typed into the Google search. The Google search I was putting in there was the American President movie lines press conference. Okay, here we go. Reporter, Robin. Will the President ever respond to Senator Rumsfen's question about being a member of the American Civil Liberties Union? President Shepard. Yes, he will. Good morning. Members of the White House press corps begin to rise. It's all right. Please keep your seats. Good morning. For the last couple of months, Senator Rumsfeld has suggested that being president of this country was, to a certain extent, about character. And although I have not been willing to engage in his attacks on me, I have been here 3 years and 3 days, and I can tell you without hesitation, being president of this country is entirely about character. For the record, yes, I am a card-carrying member of the ACLU. But for the more important question is, why aren't you, Bob? Now, this is an organization whose sole purpose is to defend the Bill of Rights. So it naturally begs the question, why would a senator, his party's most powerful spokesman, and a candidate for president, chose to reject upholding the Constitution? Now, if you can answer that question, folks, then you're smarter than I am, because I didn't understand it until a few hours ago. America isn't easy. America is advanced citizenship. You gotta want it bad, because it's going to put up a fight. It's going to say, you want free speech? Let's see you acknowledge a man whose words make your blood boil, who's standing center stage and advocating at the top of his lungs that which you spent a lifetime opposing at the top of yours. I need to get some lighting in this place. You want to claim this land as the land of the free? Then the symbol of your country cannot just be a flag. The symbol also has to be one of its citizens exercising his right to burn that flag in protest. Now show me that. Defend that. Celebrate that in your classrooms. Then you can stand up and sing about the land of the free. Give me a second. I'm going to hit the pause button right now because I got to get some more lighting in this place. Okay, I've known Bob Brunson for years, and I've been operating under the assumption that the reason Bob devotes so much time and energy to shouting at the rain was that he simply didn't get it. Well, I was wrong. Bob's problem isn't that he doesn't get it. Bob's problem is he can't sell it. We have serious problems to solve, and we need serious people to solve them. And whatever your particular problem is, I promise you, Bob Rumsden is not the least bit interested in solving it. He is interested in two things, and two things only: making you afraid of it, and telling you who's to blame for it. That, ladies and gentlemen, is how you win elections. You gather a group of middle-aged, middle-class, middle-income voters who remember with longing an easier time, and you talk to them about family and American values and character, and you wave an old photo of the president's girlfriend, and you scream about patriotism. You tell them she's to blame for their lot in life, and you go on television and call her, I'm not going to use that word. Sydney Allen Wade has done nothing to you, Bob. She has done nothing but put herself through school, represent the interests of public school teachers, and lobby for the safety of our natural resources. You want a character debate, Bob? You better stick with me, because Sydney Allen Wade is way out of your league. Okay, then he talks about his relationship. Next slide. I love two women in my life. I've lost one to cancer, and I lost the other one because I was so busy keeping my job. I forgot to do my job. Well, that ends right now. And then he talks about his own stuff, about the crime bill and other things happening. The last lines on this one. We got serious problems, and we need serious people. And if you want to talk about character, Bob, you better come at me with more than just a burning flag and a membership card. If you want to talk about character and American values, just tell me where and when, and I'll show up. This is a time for serious people, Bob, and your 15 minutes are up. My name is Andrew Shepard, and I am the president. I'm going to end with that. Catch part 2, maybe?